everyone, welcome to the Mono Report. I'm your host Mono, and today I have a very special guest with me, Jarrad. His first time on the show. He's Australian, but I think he'll do alright. Today we're talking Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, spoilers, full spoilers, what we thought of the movie, where we think it's going to go. Jarrad, how you doing?
Good, man.
Jarrad's a bit nervous. It's his first time. He hasn't really done many podcasts, but we're going to try something.
This is true. This is very true. This is like, I listen to like many podcasts. I'm against podcasts or anything. I use them when I go to the gym, when I swim. You can't listen to a podcast while you're swimming.
I don't know. Have they invented underwater
that'd be awesome.
AirPods yet? I don't know.
You've got like the wireless ear things. That's cool, but at the same time, like, well, you know the ones with that cord that connected to your phone?
The ones that little connected. Yeah.
Yeah, like you want Ryan Reynolds was in Definitely Maybe at the start of the movie. He'd put him in. And everyone's like, oh my God, where the hell did you get those? I'm pretty sure that was like a Apple plug, but they didn't come out
sure
for like
it was.
3
I'm sure they
years
tried
later.
to sneak in something where like, okay, come, Ryan, if you have these, we'll give you this.
But if
big
you
bucks.
can like invent like headphones that you can put in your ears while swimming, would be the coolest thing in the world.
Oh, well, you know.
And there'd be like earplugs too.
See, it's a great move. Really,
jeopardy.
when you think about it, it's a great idea. I don't know.
We'll go and invent these things after like spending 12 hours sleeping every day.
Well, you know who I think would have definitely benefited from underwater earplugs? Chris Pratt in the new Fallen Kingdom Jurassic World movie.
Oh, I see the segue there.
Yeah.
Because that's when he like dives over.
When he dives in, I think, you know,
By the way, he's dead.
Because I'm gonna say, is that a jump the shark moment for Jurassic World? Well, we passed that when T-Rexes were running through San Diego. I don't know. That might be.
And the thing about the running, because due to the movie and after watching it, because we've been watching a lot of like interviews and reviews about the movie, I find it interesting. I spent like the day just on my phone playing a video game. And on the TV, we're watching like behind the scenes of Fallen Kingdom, and also they were talking about actual real dinosaurs, and they were telling you what the actual dinosaurs were, and then half the dinosaurs in this movie are bullshit.
It's not real. It's like, oh no, we have to have consistency across these movies. Like, come on.
Like the T-Rex, the concept, like they broke down like the T-Rex, the fact that the T-Rex can really only run like 10 kilometers an hour. So you could like
the real science behind it, you know, the movies
the science
pretend it isn't there. They just to turn a blind eye to the science.
So the reviews of hearing of it about like what people go, oh, that's just not real. I'm like, the T-Rex is running 40 kilometers an hour. I'm pretty sure that's not science.
Yes, because clearly, like when it's a Jeep, you know, it can chase whatever. But if it's Bryce Dallas Howard in heels, apparently it's not a big deal.
I still didn't mind that. Then again, I don't run in heels. I've never worn heels. So I don't know the pain and torture of that. But at the same time, she is running on her toes.
True.
Not her actual heels.
I guess so. I mean, last I checked, it was a bit wet on that floor. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not Colin Trevorrow.
As long as she's running faster than 10 kilometers an hour, she's good.
I'm sure she's professionally trained in her.
Scientifically speaking, she would have been fine.
As the official numbers person on that park, I'm sure she was, athletically trained.
Exactly. She did. She got into the gym. She worked out. She worked out fine. She was in good shape.
She was definitely in good shape.
I noticed. When it comes to redheads, I notice if they're in good shape.
Well, we've come now. So I think she's learnt a little bit after that movie. We actually see her in some cargo.
Well, that's what they do. And you notice that in the certain shots, they had one too many shots of her feet.
Yeah, I think they wanted to be sure.
Just so you know, she's wearing boots this time. She's wearing boots.
We're not making that same mistake again. We're through with that.
She started the movie in heels. They should have shown
her
in heels.
So she got a little bit in there, but
so you're aware of who it was.
This happened. Yeah. We're moving on.
I hope in the third one. There's another shot of her.
I mean, if it was Colin's specific move, he was like, no, you're definitely staying in heels.
That's her toy. Her toy for it. That you can action figure. You can change her footwear. Everyone else is like, you can change their guns or like facial expressions.
Yeah.
Hers stays the same facial expression, but with different shoes. You can change her shoes around, it'll be fine.
Different hairstyle,
Yeah.
Just throw it out
To
completely.
really get the girls to buy
Who
these
is
toys.
this? Who is this lady?
Her accessories. You're going to change all her accessories.
So, okay, alright, so Fallen Kingdom's out. It's not doing the greatest on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got currently 50% on Rotten Tomatoes. I liked it more than Jurassic World.
Yep.
I gave it a 6.5 in my non-spoiler review. My issues were mainly down to the writing and the characters. That was my major draw. I absolutely loved what the director J.A. Boner did in using that script and trying to do interesting things with it. How he could just, especially just from the opening scene alone, where it's like, okay, on the page, that might just read as just, okay, the dinosaur has to chase the helicopter, and we need a fun action set piece where, someone's attached to a ladder, and suddenly the mosasaur jumps up. It's like, okay, cool. On the page, that probably sounds pretty dumb. But, I think bringing in someone like Bayona, who's got a horror background, with the Orphanage, he's done this sort of stuff. He worked on A Monster Calls, so he had that experience working with CG and everything with Liam Neeson in that movie, portraying the giant.
Oh, that was on one of the kids, like his mum was sick or something like that, and he imagined this kind of beast.
It's like a whole, dealing with grief,
which was
through
coming
imagination.
out around the same time BFG came out, right? If Spielberg's BFG.
Yes,
so it's kind of in this whole monster world of
giant
kids
loving,
loving or like,
oh, you're being taken away by lovable monsters, I suppose. But
big lovable monsters are taking you away. Other monsters are like your imagination. And now they got another one where it's like a little girl is trying to kill giants.
Yes,
I saw the trailer for that, so I'm kind of like,
there's a love-hate relationship with giants going on, which is kind of concerning.
We do love our big giant monsters. I don't understand what that's about, but all right.
We're trying. It ain't too friendly, but again, like what I really like with this movie is basically the way it's made. It's Bayona's direction. That for me is what kind of keeps the movie. Because if Bayona wasn't directing, if it was again Colin Trevorrow, I think you'd be able to notice. I think the issues from his script would be more apparent because you kind of see some of that in Jurassic World, and Jurassic World was very much caught up in all the nostalgia and everything. That was that time where everyone was like, okay, cool, Jurassic is back. We were going back to the park. Everyone was hyped up, and that it made nearly 1.7 billion at the box office, or whatever. So he had that. You could use that kind of nostalgia to kind of wipe away or ignore some of the issues that were potentially there. Whereas this time, I think with Bayona directing, a different director altogether, you kind of can start to see where maybe sort of certain, creases are in the way Colin Trevorrow works with his style of writing. Because again, he's another one of these directors that have come from, a smaller independent movie, and they've jumped straight into a bigger, big blockbuster franchise. Whereas, Bayona, it was a little bit like he's sort of progressed over the years. He had like a very small horror film with The Orphanage, and worked his way to something involving motion capture and CG with Monster Calls. So, over time, he sort of built up a bit of that pedigree in directing with different genres and different styles of filmmaking, that sort of thing. So, in my opinion, I've always, especially after seeing this, the way Bayona is able to use the camera to sort of tell things without, directly having, a character voice all these things through exposition to you, is what really made the film. Having, especially that opening, with the mosasaur, because, give that scenes anyone else, that could go, a million different ways. But the way Bayona sort of tackles it is, okay, we're going to build up this suspense. We're going to make it, okay, what are these guys doing here? Why are they trying to connect all this information up to, our evil schemers for the movie. Just the way he shot the T-Rex sort of in the background. Okay, you get little flashes of the T-Rex coming in.
I love that. For me, like the way I kind of view Jurassic Park is they're supposed to be scary movies. They're supposed to be kind of this blockbuster, like, oh my god, it's so exciting, kind of, then we'll wait to like second act. We're in it, and now we're also the dinosaurs are chasing you down. I was looking at that in the sense of when I first watched the first Jurassic Park as a kid. I never saw it on the big screen. I was like 7, and when Wayne Knight's character ended up beating a dust, I just keep calling Newman. And every time he died, when I was a kid, the first time watching that, this is like in the daytime. I remember this vividly. It was like 7 in the afternoon, like 7. This is like as a kid, and it was still light out. Watching Jurassic Park, Newman dies. I fucked up. I screwed. I was so scared. I ended up putting a bucket on my head and running under a table because I was that horrified of that movie. And I've never really enjoyed the movies since then. Like when the third one came out, I was 2001. So how old was I? I was like in grade 8. So there I was like 14. So over the course of being 7 and 14, I saw all 3. And never loved them because I was scared shitless of them. And that got my horror of never going to see a scary movie ever. And
it all stems from Jurassic Park.
It all stems from Jurassic Park. So everyone's always talking about Jurassic Park and how much they loved it as a kid and the dinosaurs. And I was like, no. I was scared. I was on edge. So I'm looking at that in the sense of this one, I was looking at it, I wasn't scared, but I'm also 30 years old and know that these aren't real.
Time has passed.
It's all bullshit and it's all CG. They're not going to come. There's no dinosaurs in the real world.
No one's going to jump at you.
No one's coming to jump at me, spitting goo in my face and then killing me in my car. That's not going to happen. I know that's not going to happen with dinosaurs at least. So I looked at this movie because compared to the last one, Jurassic World, wasn't a fan. I enjoyed it. But at the same time, it still was like a rehash of all the other one, and they tried to make it all kind of bright. It seemed like a PG-13 movie.
It was very much a straight action adventure.
And it was
type
straight
movie.
action. It was barely dark, and when it was dark, I felt I wasn't supposed to be scared and all that stuff. So this time around, with the new director and him having like the background of kind of having his movies scary, I love that. I love that whole like, with the lightning of the guy going, dude, and you as a you're looking at the screen. Dude, shut up.
Look behind you.
Don't yell. What we've learned from the third Jurassic Park movie was don't yell.
Yeah, do not yell. They remind you about 8 times in that movie.
Going back to when we were watching these, they're just like screaming at each other, and it's this whole sense of like, oh my god, these people are idiots. And my fear of like this one was like, how many dumb people are in this movie?
And there are.
Now, not as many as the Jurassic World in the first one, where it's just like, guys, you got a tracking system on these dinosaurs. Why don't you just press the button and it's fine? Or call.
I think these guys would have worked this out by now.
Or the fact that you have you can actually taser all these guys, all these kind of. I don't know the name of the birds, right? When they're all flying, picking.
The pteranodons, pterodactyls.
You have the system where you just press that fucking button and they're all done.
Somehow these people completely forget these things exist.
So that is kind of, you can't introduce that and then never use it. So, and that's what I have in regards to these movies. I'm not a big fan of when they do that. We'll show you this, but we won't do that. And so for this one, there wasn't that many dumb people. There was maybe 1 or 2. But there was one guy who in my end, I don't know his name, but we'll get to him in a second. But like that first act with the whole concept of them going into, and it was kind of almost Jaws-like in a sense, or the concept of they're in the water, you don't see the beast, and you only see shadows of it.
Yeah.
And I love that. I was very kind of, because my fear is dying in water. I don't want being down under in lower water if there's a big giant monster.
Caught with a giant monster behind you.
That was very kind of scary. So I looked at it in that sense and go, okay, you got me. I'm like, but part of me was like, okay, I know I'm not going to die. It's going to be fine. But then I thought about my 7-year-old self from the first time.
How would 7-year-old Jarrad do all that?
Oh, I was terrified. That's not a word. I was scared. I was looking at this in the sense of like 7-year-old kids watching this movie, they're scared. And that's what I think is beautiful. People today watching and reviewing this and kind of hating it and loving it at the same time, and they're, oh, I don't like this part, I didn't like how it was here. I'm like, yes, because it wasn't scary enough. I'm like, because you just went and saw it.
Yeah.
And thought that was terrifying. And that is a terrifying movie, but it's different terrifying.
Yeah.
But if you're a 7-year-old kid watching these movies, you're scared.
Because at their core, these movies are still your adventure film, where you're going to have, like, bits of everything. You're still going to have some comedy kind of thrown at you to break up these moments of
exactly
dread
and that's what I found. I was just going on board as trying to be a kid watching these movies and going. And as a kid, I had a great time. I loved it. Me as an adult, now not so much. It was still like, okay, I get where this is going. And like, I wanted like a bit more depth from all my characters, which I didn't get.
And I think that's a lot of the issues that you're seeing crop up now, that people are sort of starting to get on, because again, you know, Jurassic Park, even though it's a simple story, but you still cared for everyone as they were going, running around forever. You know, you got Alan Grant's journey through it. He's trying to learn to like live with kids. You know, he's trying to accept them, that he can potentially be a dad one day, type thing. You can throw away these obsessions, with the raptor claw, all that sort of thing. Whereas here, we're still not getting a whole lot done with our lead characters. I think Bryce Dallas Howard, Claire, her character Claire gets probably the most work put into it out of it, especially compared to Chris Pratt's own character, who is still, in the first movie, he was still that Navy, ex-Navy guy who could he knew everything about dinosaurs. Nothing changed about the guy.
Yeah, you take him from not even the start of this movie, but the start of New World, friggin' Jurassic World. You take him from that, he's exactly the same from end.
Hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
Hasn't changed.
That's it. That is him.
Yeah.
And his concept of it is, and like you still don't even know where he stands in regards to the safety of these animals.
Yeah.
Does he want to save them? Does he not want to save them? Because in the first one, he's like, okay, I'm training these guys. I'm showing you how we can train these, and then that kind of entices the government to be like, well, we can weaponize them, right? Well, not the government, the corporation. For I'm going, well, maybe we can. And he is clearly a guy that's showing us that we can do it. So he gives them the idea for that, and it's like, okay, cool. And then that's it. And then in this one, he's like, and then he just goes with the flow of trying.
He goes with the flow. I mean, they try and give him a direction with Blue, where they're trying to go, okay, it's been a while since you've seen him. Do you still know me? And you're like, okay. And still, one of the issues that bugs me with this movie is their relationship, because I still find it. Hard to believe. Okay, so hard to believe that Blue would have no issue just seeing this dude rock up after 4 years since the first movie, and then not only be sucked in and shot by one of our new bad guys, and then
tranquilized.
Well, shot as well.
Yeah,
we have a major scene in the movie where we're trying to operate on this dinosaur without a harness on its mouth,
which I love, because if you actually, when you watch the movie, they trank Blue. And she goes. I think they do 2 shots, and she goes down. But then also,
because we've got that very specific line.
A guy goes to shoot her, and Blue comes and attacks the person and has a claw, and he's about to rip their face off.
Yeah.
And the guy gets his gun out, and he's like, "Don't shoot her! Don't shoot her!" I'm sorry, if I'm that guy, fuck you.
I'm not waiting for Chris Pratt to tell me things are okay.
And even the other guy's like, you can't. He's telling one of his man who was because his goal is like he's been hired to collect these dinosaurs as well. As long as with Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt was brought in to get Blue, and all the other military guys are there to collect all the dinosaurs and take them back to their sanctuary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the boss of them is telling the guy who's getting attacked by Blue and he's about to be eaten not to shoot her. It's like, if I'm that guy, I'm letting off 6 or 7 rounds.
Getting it out there.
I am killing this dinosaur. I don't care if you get a bonus. If you're going to get a bonus for it.
Yeah, an extra score, right?
I don't give a rat's ass.
No, I'm not waiting around for that at all.
That was the whole kind of looking at that. I'm like, I don't even know if that guy lived.
So cool. He ended up, our main guy here, the tooth collector. The tooth collector. Yes, another brilliant character in this movie.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
I know he's played by Ted Levine, but that's about as far as...
Ted Levine, he's been in a whole bunch of stuff. He was in Monk.
Silence of the Lambs, But this is the thing, we suddenly we're just, it's going back to the Blue thing, is where we have this again, another major absence with where Chris Pratt is not interacting with Blue. I mean, okay, oh he helps helps get the bullet out.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
Great scene, great. We got a puppet dinosaur finally after trying to get some puppets back into these things, but after that it's okay. Suddenly, Blue is helping out Chris Pratt. There's just nothing in between to suggest we get some cool, really cute YouTube videos of them as a young Blue trying to bond and everything. But it's like, I'm sorry, but in the last movie, he still jumped at Chris Pratt when he's trying to help that guy out. You can't for sure.
Yeah, they're trying to make it's a loyal dog. In a sense of this is like a puppy. Yeah. It's a puppy. It's curious. It's trying to figure out who you are. And I can't get why it's kind of not annoying, but in a sense of I see what they're trying to do with it. They're really trying to show that there's a relationship here, and this is why they're really forcing this relationship on Chris Pratt's character and his dinosaur to show how connected they are. So it gives reason for all the other stuff that happens in the movie. So the concept of the plot of it all is there's volcanoes going off on the island. So and everyone always in the videos I've been watching, everyone's like, well, there's a second island, there's Site B. But if they forget, it has been Jurassic World had been open for 10 years.
It's been a long time.
My assumption is they've got all the dinosaurs and they've brought them to
move them over to
Site A, right? To New Worlds. They're all on New World. We haven't said it, and even the director has kind of mentioned that Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 are all in the same continuity with this.
But they're not acknowledged.
But it's not acknowledged at all, which is fine. But we as audience members have to believe that all the dinosaurs from Site B are now on Site A.
Right.
Where New World is. And then Jurassic World happens, everyone goes to shit, and then eventually it's everyone leaves, and then the dinosaurs are left to their own free will. 3-4 years later, they're all like, well, now the volcano's going to blow up.
Which seems, again, another short-sighted decision. Oh, by the way, there's a near-active volcano on this island. Someone didn't notice this in 20 years.
Yeah.
How?
Exactly. I thought we were going to get a Dante Peak type of deal.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just one of the writing things to go, how are we going to get these guys off? We need to force them off the island and put.
Which I like this is forced them now. They can't go back to. They can't keep using the island as a
go to, and that's this movie all on its own really did feel like a movie. Even the first one and the second one, these two have kind of are pushing it to make. Well, let's make the third one. This is what we really, really want. We want the third. This is what
it's all been building up to, which puts into question what this movie's purpose really is.
Right, and it's which is fine, but at the same time, that's the thing, because I do like the second one more than the first one, because it has more kind of, I don't know, there's no sense of character because the cast is still the same people. It's still the whole Bryce Dallas Howard's character. And that's the thing, I can't remember their names.
That's the thing, these characters aren't particularly memorable. It's we know Chris Pratt's in these movies. Oh, cool, let's go see the one with Chris Pratt. It's the people...
What's his name? What is his name?
What's his name? But you see a trailer, which I still cannot believe how much the trailer showed of this movie, because it pisses me off. But, we see Jeff Goldblum in these trailers be like, cool, okay, he's playing Ian Malcolm. We remember Ian Malcolm from the first two movies.
And he's still
the character that we love.
He's still one of my favorite characters, and he's also one of my, in a sense, smartest characters, because the whole time, every single movie he's in, he's telling them, this is the stupidest idea in the world. What the fuck? The first one,
why are you making these decisions?
The whole concept of life finds a way, his go-to line, that is fine. It's a beautiful line. He delivers it in a Jeff Goldblum style. That's fine. But he's literally been saying this whole movie, no, don't do this. This is stupid.
Stop, let them die.
Don't open the Pandora box. And then in the second one, and the reason why I love the second one is for the two favorite lines that he has in the movie, and it's not even from the first one. It's in the trailer. They use trailer lines, and I love them. It's and I do love the whole concept because someone who's been through this, it's ooh, it's yes. then comes the running. Like, I love that line. I love it. Because it's still a concept like, yes, you're going to love this. This is going to look great. It's all fancy. And then they're going to chase us. And they're going to kill us. And that's just stupid. And then there's all like, taking these dinosaurs off the island is the dumbest thing in the world. And what happens? The freaking T-Rex gets out, somehow, off the boat. And goes running around the city.
And gets back into its spot.
Yeah, and right? So that's happening. And I'm like, okay. So that's the concept. Don't have these dinosaurs on land. It's stupid. And then even in New World, he's cameo and I will admit, cameo. It is a cameo.
It is.
It's the top and tail end of
literally one of the last lines in the movie. "Welcome to Jurassic World" is in the trailers.
Yeah, and that's the. Well, I think all the.
A lot of
the action in the movie is in the trailers. You watch any of the trailers, like
at those last shots, the T-Rex, roaring at the lion. Who's the king? Literally last few scenes of the movie in these trailers. It pisses me off.
And it's like, and I get it because they are trailer moments.
Yeah,
that's what you felt this movie was. A lot of trailer moments. It's like, that's a really cool moment. They'll look good in the trailer. It's like, they'll look good is it good for the movie? But you think
of like a Marvel movie, like Avengers, okay. Like, you didn't get, any of the stuff from the last bit of that movie, right? Yeah, you didn't need to, like, show what happened there. You could find other scenes throughout to, like, build up to. And, it started with, Universal shooting themselves in the foot with the first trailer. Where it's like, okay, we're going to show the T-Rex making that awesome kill. That is a callback to the first movie where it's, saves all our human characters. But it's like, okay, but that's still a pivotal point. And that's, capping the end of the first half of this movie. So like, okay, what have we got left to show people?
Sorry, Owen and Claire. I couldn't remember their names. That was going to bug the crap out of me. It's like Bryce Dallas Howard's character is Claire and Chris Pratt's is Owen. Owen Grady. I was like, all right. Oh, that's who that guy is. Sorry, I'm thinking when we watched this movie, me and my friend Emily, like the bad guy throughout, the young bad guy, he's Ralph, like the kind of guy who's kind of playing this under like the belt in the secret basement. Mills, right? I was wondering who that guy is. He's just been in a whole bunch of stuff, and he's a lovable character. Like, he's in a lot of stuff. He's like in The Big Short. He was in Hot Fuzz, The Ritual.
Well, I'd argue with this one. I would go see. Okay, so with this guy, I kind of lean on the negative side of him because it still comes back to the point of him being a dumb villain. Which, don't get me wrong, the sequel's full of dumb villains, and
it's always the dumb lawyers, right?
Dumb lawyers, dumb businessmen, dumb military types, and all that. So we're sort of we're like, okay, go along with this, but it's like, oh, okay, but can you try something a bit harder than this guy who's after this other dude's fortune? We're just going to be like, oh yeah, he's been planning this underground auction. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm sure the guy would have found out, considering how investigative, the so-called granddaughter is about looking around the house and everything. I'm sure she would have bumped into him at another time, or getting him, seeing him try and organize this sort of thing.
Yeah, well, it's recently now that he's kind of like been going.
By the way,
because that's the thing. In regards to like the villains, there's no villains. Like Spielberg, when he did Jurassic Park, his concept was that the main stars were the dinosaurs. Yeah, and that's who we should do.
Because at the end of the day, the Velociraptors was still the main antagonists of that movie. Yeah. Where it was like, and
okay, especially in the third one. In the third one, the Velociraptors were kind of the bad guys in a sense, but at the same time, they weren't the bad guys.
Well, they played with it because the whole thing with the first movie is like, okay, you can't control nature. That's the whole sort of message behind that sort of thing. You can't have control. It's that whole. Lunch scene that they have, and the bit with Ellie Sattler and John Hammond when they're having that discussion, like, you never had control, you could never control them. So now it's like we still keep going to that idea of like, let's try and control.
We can still control, and that's what they could do.
We think, if we make our own dinosaurs, our hybrid dinosaurs, that's our way of controlling them. Exactly. It's like, no one's learnt anything from Jeff Goldblum.
That's what he says at the start of the movie. He's like, this is God. God is, and he's like,
God is saying, let it.
But he's literally saying, Mother Nature is going to go, you've done wrong. I'm gonna wipe the slate clean, and then they're like, okay, we agree with you, and they agree with it. They're
They
like,
agree with
let it
them.
happen.
They
And then
banned
that's
it
when we get
out.
the big bads of the bad company under false pretenses. And remember, this is spoilers because if you're listening to this because you want to know what happens,
If you've gotten this far, you know it's a spoiler talk.
we've spoiled the whole movie for you. But at the same time, like they bring Bryce Dallas Howard to come in, and they're like, oh, we want to save him. We want to put him on this like island where it's they're gonna be happy and live. And like this is fantastic because she's now come into this, and that's like the one split where you kind of like, well, why is she trying to save the dinosaurs? It's like, well, she did work there, and she kind of learnt from her experience going through Jurassic World, going, okay, we've screwed up, but at the same time, these dinosaurs are real and they have feelings.
Yeah, which is why I like her character in this movie. It's like the most is actually done. We get a nice arc with her, which is
out of everyone in the whole movie, she's the only one that has the arc in the sense of her whole at the start of the movie is we have to save these dinosaurs. We have to save them.
Protect them. We have to keep them safe.
Rights. And then comes down to the very end of the movie where she has now the power of God herself. She's been given she has it where it's like you can have these animals killed. What do you want? What not to do?
Which I would have loved if they'd stuck with the decision of going, no, we've got to let these dinosaurs die. That's nature.
If you think about it,
nature's course.
They did do that.
Chris Pratt going, there's no going back after you do this.
That's the thing, like his character again doesn't have this evolution of changing. It's just like, hey, you want to protect Blue? And it's like, okay, and he comes and he goes and he gets her. And then his whole thing is like, okay, he really doesn't. That's the one thing about this character. He has no evolution.
No, nothing changes.
And they're trying to make him like the Sam Neill character, and it's just like, okay, he's good with kids, he's good with dinosaurs. Yeah. The only thing is, he's having in and out relationship with Claire, and it's like, oh, and then that's the thing. They had the exact same thing for like their relationship at the start of Jurassic World. They dated. Yeah. They possibly hooked up.
Now they're back together.
Then they didn't. They're like, oh, it didn't work out. It's like, this is stupid. We don't work well together. They go through this experience. They get together and they get back together. And they're all right, cool. Now you guys are together. This is fantastic. Yeah. 3 years later, new movie comes on, and they've broken up again.
You're right.
And then they go through this evolution, and now they're together and they have a kid.
That's the thing. That's what I want to know. Is Jurassic World 3 going to start with them split up yet again?
I hope they're split up. Please tell me that this
with who gets we'll get into this in a second. Who gets custody of the clone's human daughter?
Which is that's the thing. It's like having that moment for Claire at the very end of the movie, and we're for anyone who's trying to follow the story, we're jumping all over the place. It's kind of what comes to our mind, but and to get into the more depth of the story, you got John Hanneman created the dinosaurs.
Yeah, that was the idea. We're going to be able to clone the dinosaurs. We're going to have that park. Yeah. That's it. That's what we're doing.
Thing. But then he has which you find out in this movie, he has a partner, one of his partners. Yeah. And who's the old man that was?
So Ben Lockwood, played by James Cromwell, Australian actor. He's done this whole other side of things. He's been playing around with trying to clone humans, which
his concept was with John Hammond, like, hey, we are going to clone dinosaurs, we are going to do this. But then I think what ends up happening in his life is that
the daughter, his daughter is killed in a car accident, and he plays around with trying to clone his own daughter, which John Hammond has an issue with, and he goes, no, you can't, that's a step too far, that's really playing God.
It's like we can create animals that would exist, but we can't.
That were extinct at one period.
But now we can't we can't play God with actual lives. So he tells him pretty much to get screwed. They have a separation. Hammond goes and does Jurassic World while his partner in crime is trying to clone an actual person. Eventually, off screen, Hammond does die. Played Richard Attenborough. Richard Attenborough, and he does die in real life, and so in the sense of that was their relationship, and that's why you're, as a fan, you're kind of supposed to connect the dots there that this is what he's been doing, and you're like, and they hint at it so often. They hint at this they say, oh, you're the mirror image of your mother, and it's just like, oh, so you're like,
there's all these little play.
I picked it the moment that line was said. I turned to my friend and I went,
Yeah.
Oh, she's a
So
clone.
see, yeah, the issue that I really have with the plot line is just the delivery and execution of it, because it's like, okay, I can live with where Jurassic Park as it is a science fiction concept. We're bringing back dinosaurs from the dead. We're using technology that while it's rooted in science, is still kind of make believe. You can't just have that sort of DNA ready to go. Whereas, so now having this option of like, okay, we're going to introduce humans to be part of this. We're going to be able to clone humans. So, okay, well, I can accept that. I'm fine.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people have issues just going that far into science fiction.
Which I don't get, because if people are like, oh, I have issue with that, it's like they've cloned dinosaurs. Actual dinosaurs. If you can clone a dinosaur, you can clone a person, because the way they kind of make it out that you can actually clone dinosaurs, it's like, well, it's just their DNA. It's like, well, if you have the father and mother, you can put these genes together and make a human. It wouldn't be as hard.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it is. And time-wise, you look at, because the girl she's played what? Thinking 8 years old, 9
years old. So we're assuming that the actual daughter died around the time when John Hammond was still around.
Yes.
Which is supposed to be around 20 years before this movie takes place. So we're assuming that...
20 years ago, John Hammond dies, but before that, because that's the thing, I reckon it was a little bit harder for him to clone an actual person. So I reckon
I'm sure we've had some attempts at this over time, so we've had different versions of the daughter.
That's how I kind of see it. I see that he's had a few attempts, he finds out, he goes, what the hell are you doing? He goes, I'm trying to clone my kid. He's like, you can't do that, that's just stupid. And
Too far.
It's too far. And he's like, no. And then they have an argument and they have separate things. Years later, Hammond dies, but then he's like, well, my friends died, I'm going to help protect these dinosaurs. Because now I've actually got my daughter. Yeah. Who they state is her, like, he says to the girl it's his granddaughter. But eventually, over the course of the movie, you find out that, and they hint at it too. With the eyes, there's like this picture of the kid. And I never knew if it was like the nanny. I don't know if it was, because that wasn't his wife.
No, I mean, for a moment I thought it might have been his wife, or they had some sort of closer relationship, but it's never too...
Yeah, they never establish it. They try to establish that she was, like, the mother of the girl.
The original daughter,
yeah,
or
or they used her
been playing this...
to do it. Yeah, so it's like... And because the Mills is the young bad guy?
Yes, yeah.
So, like, he's the one's like, you don't know who she is, and you don't know, it's like, what she is. It's like, okay. So,
which, again, it goes into, like, his delivery of that line is what gets me. Is because he's like, she's a clone.
Yeah, right.
And that, just suddenly, we've escaped and, we're off, dinosaurs are running about and everything.
Yeah,
but
which that's the thing, like, we met the girl at the start when it's, like, Claire is, like, approached to, like, hey, you should come and save the dinosaurs, and she goes, okay, I'll go and do it, and they go, and then they get lied to, of course, and they have that, and that's the thing, there's two other characters that go with them, who aren't even, like, memorable in the sense of, like, alright, you got the tech guy.
Oh, the tech guy,
like,
and
the... kind of, like, just screams at everything, and to be honest, like, I would be like that too, but then why would I go?
Why would you go? Because Claire is supposed to, she was in charge of the island. Yeah. How did she not have control?
But at the same time, looking at that,
access.
Like, I can see her having access, but if the system is down, it's like if you get all the bosses in the company, I'm pretty sure none of them know how to use the technology.
Probably true. Yeah, probably true.
The fact of that, in a sense, is kind of smart. That need someone who's tech smart. But this guy alone is like, oh, I'm scared shitless of everything, so I'm gonna come. And it's like, okay, fine, no worries. And then bring
the girl with him, who the paleo. Apparently, she used to be in the Navy, because of course someone has to be in the Navy from the Navy.
Why is everyone these days in navies also like you
got to be somehow capable? The only way you can be capable in these movies is if you're from the Navy. Screw any other type of service.
Everyone is superhuman in the sense of like. You look at all these movies and like the first one, even like the second one, it's kind of like everyone has a skill level and that's it. It's not like, oh, I was in the Navy for 10 years and then I went and learned about dinosaurs. It's like, no, because that's the thing. They're trying to make everyone kind of Chris Pratt type of characters. Where
everyone, and they're caught in a situation they can somehow get out of it.
Like,
which still doesn't explain him jumping off a giant cliff, but
no, exactly. That's the thing. Look at that, because when that happens, so the volcano goes up and they're trying to run away
and he's got massive dinosaurs behind him.
They find out that they've been like actually screwed over by the people that've hired him because they've been tricked because they really needed Blue thing and that's like, and that was the thing, that's they really needed Blue to get Blue's DNA or Blue to kind of, because what we learn is that Blue's like a very specialized character, like dinosaur, because it kind of gets all the other dinosaurs in line. So they
it's got that relationship where it's able to have empathy and he can care for other people. It can be that mother figure that our villains want for the Indoraptor. They want this mother figure that Henry Wu wants. It's to teach future Indoraptors that they make.
Yeah, because that's the thing. They've already made one.
They've made a prototype Indoraptor
but it doesn't have the empathy that Blue
doesn't
has.
Have the empathy.
The kind of careness that Blue has. But yeah, it's still in Jurassic World. Blue seemed to want to kill you anyway. So I'm like, all right. They've really kind of pushed that more in this one. That Blue is kind of
much more loyal to Chris Pratt, which is still. I mean, we've talked.
So that's the thing. They go there and they go to the island and they get, of course, screwed over, and then eventually now they're trying to get off the island as well, and the volcano's going off, and they're running and they get in the biodome thing and they go off, and I can't believe that it lands in the water. But it's such a big drop. I'm looking at this going, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
he's
there's
so
no
dead.
I'm sorry, like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what is like the nuke the fridge equivalent in this film. Either Chris Pratt jumping off that cliff. Possibly, some people have made the argument for the clone that's the nuke the fridge moment for.
See, that's not. I'm sorry. If you can clone a dinosaur, you can clone a person. So that to me isn't the jump. The jump to me was him jumping off the cliff. And I'm like, you're dead.
Yeah, because as exciting as those scenes were, I mean, they're like well choreographed and staged and everything. I like the way that they're all executed. Like that's, to Bayona's credit, he knew how to direct them. But you've gone to a point now where like, okay, we've had, suspended, disbelief for so long now. But now we just expect, Chris Pratt, you throw whatever you want at this guy. He's going to get through this.
And that's the thing. You look at this where it's like, okay, everyone else was kind of, and even in all three of the movies, no one seemed to have that. It was kind of pure luck or whatever, where it's kind of, things just kind of worked out for him. And you're like, all right, like, friggin' Malcolm, he's a mathematician. He didn't do anything like action-packed. Sam Neill's character, he's friggin' biologist. He's
paleontologist.
Paleontologist, right? He's a paleontologist. And he doesn't do anything action-packed. He's not like...
Well, this is the thing. The original movie kind of...
runs.
Well, see, the first movie... it grounds a lot of those. It's like, okay, humans could potentially do these sorts of things, right? And like, okay, you have those moments where it's the T-Rex flipping the car and throwing the car over the ravine and into the tree and all that sort of thing, right? And that's fine. We get that those are the moments of disbelief or whatever. But the movie builds up to it. You're like, okay, we could get that these characters could, we can accept that. Yes. We can accept that. Whereas Chris Pratt hasn't earned that. He has not earned that. We haven't built that. It was like, okay, well, because he's just the everyman who can do anything.
The golden rule is like, I'm as a former Navy SEAL. It's like, okay, so if you're a former Navy SEAL, therefore we're going to buy that you know how to ride a motorbike really well, you know how to shoot really well, and apparently you now know how to train friggin' dinosaurs really well. And that's all fine. That's where we're in today. But that's the thing, I'm still coming back to this concept of this Fallen Kingdom. I just don't have any empathy or like...
No, it's like whenever anything happens with these guys, funny, and I'm not worried,
Kind of the go-to guy. Like the boys in the first one, they're like, oh, we're going to follow him. And it's like, I would follow him too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
this
not following
guy
him.
clearly isn't going to die. So,
I'm gonna follow this
we can
guy.
have these great moments where it's like, okay, funny scene, right? We have, like, him trying to avoid the lava, right? Hilarious. Like,
That was
great for a lot.
Yeah, right? That's the thing. It's like, okay, and that's pretty good brought humor to it and also that risk, but you know he's not going to die.
No, he's going to
You're
somehow, despite, how hot he would be, but, he's still got his perfect makeup and everything.
And that's where I have also issue with all these films at the moment, where it's like, when you hear things, and it's different for us because we're very in depth with it. So for casual film goers who are watching these movies, they don't know that he's signed three contracts.
Yeah.
Right? Not three contracts. He's signed.
Well, he's Chris
three
Pratt.
film
He's
contracts.
the action star.
Yeah, he's the new action star anyway. And it's just like, so I get that sense where no one knows that he's signed 3 films, so you don't know if he will die. But at the same time, as me watching it, I'm like, oh, I know he's gonna live. I know he's not. Like, you're not gonna kill him. You're not gonna kill Bryce Dallas either.
No.
They're all gonna live. Assume like all the bad guys are gonna be around, and they're all gonna.
We've had now Henry Wu escapes. Like, if Henry Wu doesn't die in Jurassic World 3, I'm gonna be pissed.
How many times I have to watch Henry go, oh shit, grab all his stuff and then leave?
Yeah, just hightail it out of there.
He gets
He's always got an escape
He always has a suitcase that he puts
full of embryos, just
blood samples and stuff, and then he goes.
At ease,
So I understand that. And it's like, why is this? He probably did that in Jurassic Park, where he was barely in it, but at the same time,
that was the idea. No one knew what happened to this guy. Oh, by the way, we're going to bring back this tertiary character that you probably forgot about as the connective tissue.
Yeah, exactly.
The sole connective tissue.
Like the secret bad guy. But even he was like not one of the dumbest characters in the thing, or in the sense of like.
No, well, we know what to kind of expect with him. We've seen what he was like in Jurassic World and everything.
Even him, he was like in this one. Because the concept of the Velociraptor. What's the big bad dinosaur in this one?
The Indoraptor.
So Indoraptor, right? So he's even said, he goes, we need blue to make. We have an Indoraptor that we've made already, which we got from the bone from the first dinosaur, and then from the previous movie, but it doesn't have the empathy. It doesn't have what we need it to care and be nice. This one's just pure evil. So, but we've got a version of it, right? He's saying, and that's what he's saying, we need blue so we can kind of birth these Indoraptors, and blue can kind of mother them and teach them how to kind of communicate correctly. So that's happening, and then eventually they have this auction, and this very by numbers auction of like, here's a tank. It's like, okay, a tank type of dinosaur.
20 million!
20 million, and they're all kind of, and you got all these like gangs and Russian mobsters, and it's just like, okay, fine, that's where you're going with it. I don't know how you're going to control these animals. I don't know the concept of you just going to let this thing out and like hopefully kill a town. Like, what's going to happen with these dinosaurs and like weaponizing them? Like that plot in the whole weaponizing the dinosaurs is interesting, and I kind of like it because it's a new twist on it. But it's still a very like, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, how can you guarantee? We've had 5 movies now where dinosaurs have turned on people. We had a whole incident in San Diego where that wasn't enough for you. Couldn't control a T-Rex. Couldn't control velociraptors in Jurassic World. So why do you think, okay, we're going to have this built-in option with this Indoraptor that we're going to somehow be able to control?
Sell them, and then we're just going to sell them off. But here's the thing. It's like not even just that, because that's like, oh, we're going to weaponize these things, that's fine, and place some on the government. But they weren't doing that. They were selling them to like really shady people.
Yeah, like what are these people doing with these dinosaurs? Why are they buying them?
Do you have a holding area for these dinosaurs? Do you have like a secret way to do it? Are you going to clone them yourself now?
Yeah.
Like, what's the deal with that? So I'm like, okay. So those things were happening, and it's like, okay. But here's my thing with Wu. Wu was even when they bring out their new secret weapon, and they're like saying, look, here it is. Like, you can actually put a laser on someone, and the sonics of that will get the dinosaur interested, and they'll kill that person who was pointing at. I like that because it's kind of really that's how you.
It's
show it
out there.
It's
out there. It's like
it's out there, but it's at the same time it's kind of showing you this is what we would have done. But I like that, and we was like, we're gonna make a better one, don't we? And then people start bidding, and then the dumb people get all greedy and like, oh, we want to buy this, and it's like, well, no, this is just a prototype, you idiots. This is don't friggin' sell it. So even Wu, who's like,
and of course you've got the greedy guy going like, oh, I can make some money, I'm gonna sell it.
We can make more. It's like no, don't do it.
That's where I'm still at. This is where I can't stand parts of this movie where it's just like you still got these stupid people doing these things where it's like, what? I can make all this money. I'll forget everything. I'm gonna sell this off. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me. You're like, are you serious?
It's still nuts. It's still the whole concept of like this villain is greedy, but I'm like, you work for $1 billion company, and it's clear that you just made $120 million.
Yeah, that's all. You're not going to try for any more.
You made $120 million off these like 8 dinosaurs that you've sold and are now out in the environment.
But yeah,
and then, of course, Claire and Owen come in and like they've been caught.
Because
they got off the island. They escape the island, but then they get captured.
Yeah,
and they've been in a holding cell and they escape the holding cell, and which is a nice little bit of business there. And it's like, okay, cool, and then. The dinosaurs, and I can't even know the names. I can't even speak half of the language.
So, look, this is the thing with the dinosaurs in this movie. It's just they're still the highlights of these. The T-Rex is still treated as the star as it has been since day one. So that's all well and good. But my issue is really with how the whole Indoraptor thing is sort of handled, because it's like, okay, Indominus Rex. As crazy as it was, they still had made an attempt to build a mythology around it, where it was just like, okay, cool. Here's this new killing machine that we've had. We learned that it's killed its sibling. It's pretty freaking dangerous. Should not let this thing out. It can camouflage, all this sort of thing. It's like, okay, cool. With the Indoraptor, we don't see it until halfway into the movie. We don't really know anything. We have hints of what they're making, and then we get the reveal. And great. It's a great design, awesome design. But there's no extra attempt at really, okay, it can do this thing with a sonar. If you point a laser and you shoot a sonar, it's going to jump at it. But nothing else is really done with trying to explain what it is or what it can do.
How are we really going to weaponize every single other...
We just had it, the Indominus Rex, where it was like, oh, okay, it was part Velociraptor, so I could talk to the raptors, change their minds, and you don't see that happening in this movie, where it's like, okay, you'd think, surely the Indoraptor would be able to talk to Blue or something somehow, but not explored. But gets ignored.
They ignored it, but also I reckon in that sense they probably thought we've touched on that already. That has already occurred.
But at the expense of the Indoraptor, I feel like it's like, okay, cool, we've got this movie monster that's just going to chase people around this haunted mansion, which is it's fine, because I like the third act of this movie. I like that it's horror focused. I appreciate that side of it.
So you enjoy that, because that's the thing there clearly is 2 parts of this movie.
Yeah.
There's the first part.
You've got the scene on the volcano, sequence on the volcano. Yeah. And then you've got the haunted mansion side of things, which I like. Okay, we get to scale it back. We can, because the whole volcano situation is massive. We're watching this thing blow up. All these dinosaurs, millions of dollars worth of dinosaurs on screen all at once, sort of thing. We're like, okay, we've also got another half of a movie to make, so let's bring it back to this one location where we don't have to worry about things exploding and everything like that. But at this,
it's like they run out of money. It's like we run out of money.
How can we do it?
We could show all these
turn the other half into this little horror movie. That'll be fun. So you've got that, and I don't mind. I liked it. I liked it. That's the way they went with it. It's I don't mind it being 2 different movies. I know some people have issues with that. It's fine for me, but the way the Indoraptor sort of gets shortchanged as a result, where it's just like, okay, it's going to be this thing. It's like you're watching a Conjuring movie where it's like, oh, all right, where's the Indoraptor going to jump out, and what's this thing going to do? But it's like, okay, nothing else is really done with it. You don't learn anything else about it during that time.
No, I think you learn, in the sense of, if you look at this movie compared to A Lost World, it is kind of a Lost World-ish. Because the thing about
a lot of beats the Lost World.
They go onto the Lost World, and it's like, oh, there's dinosaurs there just driving on their own. I want to go investigate, so they send a team. They go investigate, and then there's the company comes in, collects the dinosaurs, brings them back off the island, and then puts them, because we'll take all the dinosaurs and put them on a park in the city, and then it goes to shit. and then they're like, oh, that's a bad
Same
idea.
beats, yeah.
But it's the same beats as this. So this is like, hey, we want to kind of save them and bring them on a separate island. So we're going to spend half the movie on the island, and then the other half of the movie, we're going to spend it in the city. But instead of in the city, we're in a castle.
Yeah.
Like in a basement level, running for our lives from one dinosaur. So it kind of has those same beats there, but it still is kind of very similar.
At the same time, right? So that's where, I mean, I like that it tried to do some things differently, which was like, okay, you still pick up on these like callbacks to the other movies. Blue being injured and repaired, callback to the baby T-Rex, the same thing happening in Lost World, all that sort of stuff. Which, it's fine. I mean, it's done better in those previous movies, but we're like, okay, cool, having these callbacks,
It's still on its own. Like, if I had to rank these, like, to me, I still would be, of course, Jurassic Park, Lost World. I'd go Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom, followed by Jurassic Park 3, then Jurassic World.
Yeah, so I'd probably go, I'm probably similar. I might swap World and Jurassic Park 3, but but it's still, I like where they were going with it. I mean, again, the direction is what makes the movie for me, and what it potentially sets up that what's going to come next, and that's where I think where all the questions are going to be once everyone's seen this. The movie's already made nearly over 700 million worldwide, all that. So we're going to start having people going, okay, well, what's next? We want to see what's next. What's going to happen next?
Yeah, that's where I'm curious. Like, where
do you go? Because we've been like, finally, we're getting, everything's on the main. But even though it's probably 20, 30 dinosaurs that were let out. So
and here's the thing, like on that, because I was talking about before how Claire had this moment, and like out of all the characters that had an evolution, none did compared to Claire, because her concept was, we're going to save these dinosaurs, we're going to save them, we're going to protect them, they're real animals, and then it comes down to a moment in the film where there's like a giant gas leak and all the dinosaurs that were caught held in the basement and they're slowly dying, and she can press the button to release them, and she's kind of like, should I, shouldn't I won't do it. And of course, like we were saying before, Chris Pratt's character is just like, it's like, once you do this, that's it. So she's playing that God character, and she goes in the whole, and she doesn't do it. And I love that. I love that she didn't do it.
Well, that's where I would have liked it. If I could have chosen the end of this film, that's where I would have left it. I'm like, great, you've done something. You've got some development. Great, this is where we can leave it.
But that's the thing, like...
But no, we're going to make Jurassic World 3.
But that's the hiccup. The hiccup is we have to make Jurassic World 3. So we have to show her character evolution, that she's gone, you're right, we can't have these animals. It's wrong, we should just let them die. And then it's like, okay, there's cool, there's your evolution. Well, no matter how much as an audience member you feel about this character, or the concept of how do you feel about like saving animals' lives and all that. What I loved was that this actual girl presses the button, which I get a little annoyed with, because I'm like...
It undoes everything for me, which I... Again, another one of my big gripes
like,
of the film.
You don't like that. I actually enjoyed that. I kind of wish she didn't, because you're like, oh, it's just a kid. But her line in it is, they're alive, I'm alive. And so I felt if they kind of worked more on the character or the concept of that story.
I think you needed to build up to that moment more. If that was going to be your...
That's the thing. I agree. Yeah.
Big, huge moment, big payoff.
Yeah, because they wiped over it in the sense of like, here's this girl, he's her granddaughter / clone of his daughter. We're making more of this, like her pressing a button. It didn't feel that big. It didn't feel like here's a moment that this is why.
Because everything else,
I was just more annoyed
everything building up to that had been skimmed over. It's like, okay, we're gonna mention these things.
We'll mention it in like passing.
But we're not going to go into any depth about it. But
we want to get back to the dinosaurs. Yeah, that's what you came and paid your money for. Yes, that's what I paid my money for. But at the same time, I still paid my money for. At the end of the day,
we need to get these dinosaurs onto the mainland, because that's where we want to be. That's where we want Jurassic World 3 to be.
Right, that is the annoyance that these days it's more about the spectacle than the actual characters or the actual story. Like I will still pay to go to the movies if the story is good. If the visual effects are shitty, then so be it. But if the story is good and the characters are good, you've got me. You invested in me. But in this moment, like my favorite moment was her not pressing it. But at the same time, I was like, don't press it, don't press it. And then she does it, and you're like, yes. And then the kid does it, and you're like, oh, you
why?
You're
Had one job.
Just don't do it. But then again, her line saying, "Well, I'm alive." Then you're like, okay, but I reckon if they did push more on her story beats and like what kind of investigate, have it like a moment.
Yeah,
they do. They really do brush on it. They brush on the concept of like, do you know what they're having this?
She has one moment after she finds out she's a clone.
Yeah.
She, is, oh my god, she's gasping or whatever, and she's like.
And then it's done. It's done.
It's done. Someone's like, sorry, you don't have any time. We don't have any time for that. She gets
pushed away.
Yanked away.
And then like the villain is like, it's like, you don't know what she is. Trust me, I know what she is. And it's like, what do you reason they split up? And like they do. They brushed over it for 2 seconds. Yeah. I reckon there should have been that revolution should have happened later.
Yeah,
like, a bit earlier in the thing.
That's why. The end of the movie doesn't work for me. It's just it hasn't been earned. Nothing has been earned.
Yeah, like I would have loved it if they kind of introduced her in the first one.
Yeah, or at least plant the seeds for the potential human clone being a thing. Have that sort of being set up along the way. It's like, no, we don't have any of that in the first Jurassic World. We don't. There's never a hint that someone out there was trying to do all this.
And I reckon that's the thing. They should have introduced her, the owner, him being part of like, see, that's the thing. I can't even remember his name.
See,
but like the old guy, like who friggin' separated from Hammond.
Yeah.
How I reckon I wish he was in the New World, and he was the kind of guy. We were former partners.
Yeah,
now I've kept up in his memory.
If he'd been in Jurassic World, it would have been
far more. When he died, we wanted to create Jurassic World, so I took over the rest of the company and did it. But instead, they introduced different characters, like who were building it. He's like, he's
another conglomerate,
which they killed off in the New World anyway.
Another way.
So it's kind of like this whole, I wish they did that, introduce him and go, oh, by the way, this is my granddaughter, and have her being like 8 then. And then when we see her again,
have a big reveal,
she's
3-4 years later.
And it's like, she's actually a clone, and then like hint at that in the first one.
But we don't have that.
Kind of have that moment in the second one where it's like, oh, by the way, she's a clone, and then they can have like a moment to talk about that. But they don't, they skip kind of over it. So when she does press the button, it wasn't a huge thing. It was more annoyance of, oh, you're just a kid. You don't know what you're doing. I wish they kind of built on that. But this movie was a clear movie to go, let's get you to the third one.
We need to get the third one. So we'll bring it now to where we sort of want to go with this third one. It's kind of, because that's the thing. The great thing we can do now is just be like, okay, we can sort of literally, wipe the slate a bit. Anything can happen with this third Jurassic World movie. So that is exciting, at least, because now everyone would have seen this film and be like, well, okay, we have to see the third one now. We've been given this massive, sort of tease for the next movie. So, okay, we have to find out what's going to happen with this group of 20 or 30 dinosaurs, which is to Ian Malcolm is a pandemic, but it's like, I don't know, it sounds pretty containable to me, but
I'm kind of like, it seems very containable, because like I don't think they called that many of the characters. There's maybe one or two.
I mean, I guess the assumptions that have been coming out is that some of these dinosaurs are pregnant or whatever. They're going to lay some eggs and all that sort of thing. So we're going to have dinosaurs, spread out. They're gonna be all over the states, which is still funny. We're like, okay, this is a Jurassic World, but it's like, it's really more of a Jurassic United States that we're kind of dealing with. The rest of the world hasn't quite gotten to it yet, but that's that. I mean, I like that we have those options now, where it's like, okay, cool. Next movie can be whatever. I mean, it's going to be up to Colin Trevorrow, which worries me that he's going to be back. Writing I'm already worried about, but back to direct as well. So that's where I'm like, okay, we've had 2 movies with him now. He wrote and directed the first one. He just wrote the second one. So these elements that we don't like about the film are going to be consistent.
Oh, they're clearly kind of push into the third one.
So
I like, at least he's kind of, because he penned. He was like he was part of the writing team for the first one and then this one. So at least there's that assumption. I like, if you're going to do a movie of 3...
Consistent writers,
because at least they have an idea of where they want to go. Because the fear, like you look at Star Wars doesn't seem to have a very continue kind of constant storyline. We at least set for George Lucas for these 6. They kind of have a through line.
And that's a whole other ballpark.
Which is a whole other ballpark. In like Jurassic Park, they never seem to have those moments. They never seem to, like, because even when Jurassic Park happened, then you had Lost World, then you have Jurassic Park 3. Those 3 movies could kind of.
Well, they've always kind of been designed as being sort of standalone sequels-ish, because even though they have references and everything to previous films, it's like though at least the first trilogy, each film was sort of standalone. But
you could watch Jurassic Park and then Lost World and then that's it, or you can even watch Jurassic Park and then Jurassic Park 3, and that's you don't even have to watch Lost World because they mention Lost World once. And that's at the start where he's like at the school and he's like, if anyone has any questions, Jurassic Park, I don't want to answer them. If you have any questions about the thing that happened,
so there's barely anything.
No, so that one moment, that's it. And they kind of mention Malcolm, but it's like that could be from the first movie, right? So in that sense, it's like okay, these movies haven't been they've been connected, but at the same time, no one was like thinking. Let's do 3 movies and that's it.
That's right.
Because I think that'd be very different if they were.
They'd be very, very... If there's a through line throughout,
Where I feel at least the one thing that I find that the Jurassic World series has for them is they seem to have a through line. They seem to be like, we're going somewhere with this. We have this idea. This is where we want to be. Same for like the Apes movies. The Ape movies were like, here's 3 movies that's going to lead us to where we need to get to.
Yeah, because we knew that it's going to connect somehow to the Charlton Heston original movie. Where okay, this is going to be where we're heading, but this is how we get here. But I feel like there was another way where we could have just at least treated, Rise of the Planet of the Apes was still treated like its own film. We spent time developing, James Franco's character and Caesar's character before we got to the apes have escaped and they're all over the United States.
It's a slow burn. The slower burns, the better. Where these ones doesn't seem to have slow burns.
But even still, it's like we've had 2 movies now and we still don't have that connective, interest and relationship.
Do you think that's where they're going to go with this? This concept of like, it's going to be 4 years and now dinosaurs are kind of roaming the world and we're just dealing with it. It's like, to me, it's like they're just going to get killed.
Well, that's the thing. Those people are going to kill these dinosaurs. It's not going to take much because we've seen people take out these dinosaurs and they've been able to bring them over from Site B, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue to contain.
Like how much of this is going to be apocalyptic, where it's like, oh, now it's been 10 years. Now we're all like the Planet of the Apes, where it's like, well, now human life is gone. It's like, well, is it gone? Are we back in? Like, we can't do this Stone Age type of deal.
Well, that's the thing. So if they do go like the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes sort of route with it, then I'm like, all right, cool. That if you're going to do that, stick with it. Have dinosaurs bred. We've got them all over the place, and humanity is sort of trying to learn how to deal with that and coexist with these dinosaurs. So it's like, okay, but show us the effects that it's had on humanity. Show us how it's affected Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. So bring them down to their rock bottom. Show them at absolute low. We don't have to see Chris Pratt as the everyman. We can have him sort of go like have him be some lowly lumberjack in his shack that he's been building that we don't get to see at the end.
You think the shack, he's like his hut is like, and that's the reason they broke up too, because she didn't want to he didn't let her drive his van.
So
he's now building a house.
I hope that they just stick with whatever idea that they're going, but be consistent with it. Don't have 2 different movies, I guess, in this film. Keep it to one. Keep it focused. Keep it to one idea where we go, okay, everything is going to be the dinosaurs are everywhere. People are either trying to survive or they've sort of learnt a way to exist and have their normal lives, but also have dinosaurs sort of be a part of that. So that's where, I'm worried because it's like, great, okay, they've got this wide open canvas to do literally a million different ways, a million different things. There's so many ways that they can take this next movie, but it's like, okay, I'm worried with how Trevor is going to go about it, because I've seen 2 movies where from his influence, the stuff that he's written, I know what he can do. So now I'm like, all right, it's an exciting prospect. This is what he's been building up to. This is what he's really wanted to do. But is he going to be able to actually execute it?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll go. I want to see the third one because I just want to see because it's going to be different. It's going to compared to
And it has to
how
be.
you feel about the Jurassic Park series. They're not on the island. They're not trying to get off. It's no carpet owner is kind of tricking anyone to go on the island and save their kid. So it's going to be a completely different story.
Yeah.
And
which is what I like. Which is what
I like too. And I like that.
So a lot of people wanted them to just finally get off the island. We're going to move on from the island. We can't be going back to it all the time.
But that's where I kind of had my issue with making the Jurassic series. I'm like, well, what are they going to do? Like, they've made a park, and now here's just on a bigger scale. Yeah. Here's what the actual park would look like, and if everything goes wrong, and then the second one is kind of similar deal as Lost World, and so the third one is totally. It's taken 2 movies to make a new original idea, and I reckon someone had that original idea first, and it was kind of like that's fine,
but we can stretch it out.
We can do this, but we can't start here. We need Act 1 and Act 2 before we can get the official Act 3, and that's what this is. And it's kind of, I not like it, but I just think in a sense of the story, it's going to be different. And it's the same as I do think the new Star Wars movies. They've used similar ideas from the first 3 movies, from episode 4, 5, and 6, and gone, let's kind of take that and do 7 and 8. Right? They're doing 7 and 8. 7 and 8 seem very similar, seem very different, and that's why I'm keen for the 9th episode, because it's going to be totally different.
And it has to be, and it has to be. Which,
but it's taking 2 movies to do that.
When you know that Trevor was fired from doing episode 9, and now he's on to Jurassic World 3, like, does that concern you that he's like, okay, this was his backup plan, okay, but okay, now that we know, like, episode 9 of Star Wars can be anything, Jurassic World 3 can be anything.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Trevor, I don't think he. I reckon he was partly fired, but he was like he
they did not get along.
I think it was like I want this.
But just like does it like he had the gig, he doesn't have the gig.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
does it concern you that he
that he was on that, now he's on this? Yeah. One? Not really. No, it's the same as like JJ. How JJ did the first Star Wars, and now he's doing the last one, so he gets the final say in regards to this series.
How it's going to end.
That's fine too. But I still also like that they have 3 different directors, as long as you have the same story arc. Star Wars seems issuing to me. It's like you kind of seem not to have the directors seem to have more power and stuff where the story goes, and they slightly change it to fit their own needs. And it's like, okay, and like if we're going to touch on Star Wars at the moment, it's like, let's go Kylo Ren's scar, right?
Yeah.
JJ friggin' had his scar go across his eye and down the side of his face. Oh, no, right down the middle of his nose, right? Thinking just slightly off. That's where the scar was. Well, then Ray Johnson, for the second one, he decides, no, I'm going to still do that. I'm going to still have a scar, but I think the scar looks stupid in the middle, so I'm going to move it over his eye. Now, that's a simple continuity thing, whatever, but it's still, that's what the story was in the first one, and now you're changing it to suit your needs. And that's what he kind of did in his movie. So I still like the movie, and there's moments in it I love, there's silly moments I hate. Yeah. But it's still, you're changing the story to fit your needs to make it look good for you. And that's fine. As a director, you have that right. But if you're doing a movie of 3 or a full, complete story...
Consistent through line.
Keep it consistent. Just have the continuity of that the same. So...
But this is where I'm worried about, going back to Jurassic, where I'm worried about, like, okay, so, Bayona's been, he's made this movie, done a great job directing it, but he's, at the same time, kind of been thrown under the bus, I feel. Yeah. It's like, because at least with Star Wars, Rian Johnson got to make the movie that he wants to make. And he found the success with all of that, whereas Bayona is still very much operating with what Trevorrow wants. Because, Trevorrow is writing the script. Rian Johnson wrote his script. He got to write and direct The Last Jedi. Not quite the case with Fallen Kingdom. Fallen Kingdom still had Trevorrow writing. Bayona directed it. Did a great job directing it. But, we've seen now what Trevorrow's done with the first 2. Not everyone is on board. Obviously there are people that like it. A lot of people really like Jurassic World. A lot of people do
like it and love it, and some people love it, some people hate it. But that's I like him directing the third one, it doesn't really bother me, yes or no, because like as long as it has that same through line as the first two did, if it continues on that path, then it's like great. Then I'm like, yes, okay, you've got a whole full arc story. The character arc is fucking whatever. There's no character arc. But if it comes to the kind of the dinosaur arc, it's like, yes, okay, that's what I'm happy for that to continue on. That makes me happy. So him directing it doesn't change it. It means because he's still in charge of the writing of it. So it's like, okay, at least you've overseen the whole thing. And that's where I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Then as long as you keep that. So, but at the same time, I would have liked a different director because then it would have a different style.
I think that's
why
what
I liked Fallen Kingdom, because
that's what benefits Fallen Kingdom the most.
If Trevorrow directed this one, I don't think it would have the same style. I don't think it would.
I think this movie would have done far worse if Trevor had actually directed this.
I think it probably would make the same money because it's selling the concept of Jurassic as that's the thing. You're going to see it because of the dinosaurs. You're going to continue to see it because of the dinosaurs, but at the same time, you get something different from it.
Yeah.
Which will keep people coming back. But Trevorrow coming back, it will make all the money. That's thing. It's not making the money because he's back. It won't. You can have any director in there and it'll still make the same amount of money.
Yeah.
It's how you feel, like what enjoyment you get from the movie. And I probably won't have the exact same enjoyment I get from him if he's directing it. And it's like, I like that he's writing it and continue writing it, but him directing, I would be happy if someone else did it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be too pissed off that he's not doing it, that he's directing it, but at the same time, it would be a different story. It would be a different issue. It would be a different kind of
whole separate thing, right? So that's where I'm. I think that's the thing. People are gonna see it. I think they're gonna see it because out of more obligation. I feel like, or at least for some people, all right, well, we've gone down this route. We want to see what's gonna happen. Let's just finish this thing. Let's just see this. Let's see where they're gonna go. Let's see if they can. They've promised all of this now that they're gonna go big with the third one. Dinosaurs are escaped all over the States, all that sort of thing. So let's see if they can actually pull it off. Let's see. That's what people like me who aren't exactly on board with Trevorrow, we're going to be sort of interested. We're like, okay, can you actually do it? Because you've been saying for ages and ages, like, this is what you've been wanting to do for so long. So Trevorrow, wherever you are, just please, prove that if you can prove to us that, okay, this is what you've been wanting to do, and you can come at it as
here's your
whole new experience, not another rehash of old storylines and callbacks.
The fact that you had to do the first one, you're like, well, I'm doing this first one. I don't even want to do the second one, but I want to do the third. I want to do it.
Because I worry, okay, we were not going to really get more than a third Jurassic World, because by the time, if box office for this film is fine, but it's coming off that first Jurassic World, people are catching on that, okay, these new movies maybe aren't the best. Okay, so if we get to that next one and it doesn't perform as well, then it's like, oh, okay, cool, we've got through these Jurassic World movies. They weren't great, but then I don't know, I maybe want to see just someone else come in, 10 years down the line or something afterwards and just be like, okay, we're going to have this new storyline that maybe doesn't acknowledge...
Oh, God, I hope they don't do anymore. That's the arc. I'm not...
But this is the issue I find with these new movies, is that they've caused this reaction where it's like, oh, cool, you brought back Jurassic World. You did it really absolute fucking average, but
it still made
a lot of money because people were nostalgic for Jurassic Park. So that's my worry with how this next one's going to be approached and where the future of the franchise is going to be.
When did it come out? When did Jurassic World come out?
Three years ago. So
we're at 2018 now, so it came out in 2015, right? So,
yeah.
And then before that, the one previous was 2001. So it was 14-year gap between which is great. And then that's why the first one made so much money, because it's such a huge gap. It could have been the worst movie in the world, but people still would have made $1 billion, and I think it did, didn't it? It made close to it.
1.7.
1.7.
Almost 1.7,
But the fact that this one worldwide has made 700, that's great. That's fantastic, but it won't make 1.7 because...
No.
one, do you think is it due to the quality? Do you think it's due to the fact that the New World wasn't that great, but it made that much money because it was 14 years, and then it's 3 years later, so it's still people like, oh, the new one's coming out, I'll go see it, and everyone did. But I generally feel the third one won't make as much.
Well, that's the thing. It all depends on if they do the trailers. Don't spoil the entire movie in your
spoiled the
trailer.
whole movie anyway.
Spoil the whole movie. How it all gets, end of the day, how it all gets executed. Whether Trevor, he's got. What I'm glad is he's got someone else helping him out with the script. That's what I'm looking forward to. Have a different voice in there to keep him on track. Have a few more passes out of the screenplay. Give a few more drafts. Try something different. But how you stick that landing is going to be massive with where critics are, because at the moment critics are not. Are pretty evenly split. You got people that really like it, people that don't. Audiences are still going out to see these movies, so that's fine because people still want to see Jurassic movies. They still want to see dinosaurs. That's fine.
Yeah,
but
they're not seeing these movies because Chris Pratt. They're not seeing these because Bryce Dallas Howard, and they're not seeing it because of the director. They're seeing it because of Jurassic Park. Same thing as Marvel has in these movies. People aren't seeing them because the Russo brothers did them. No. The fan, like the deep dark fans, are seeing because, oh my god, the Russos did it. Great movies. But they're not seeing it because friggin' Chris Evans is Captain America. No. You might like him as Captain America, but I bet you if I make Captain America 4, you'll go and see it, whoever you got in that role.
Yeah, because my real concern is whether after this third movie, you're going to have something similar to how the Hobbit trilogy was sort of received, and now the Star Wars prequels are kind of received. You're like, all right, we have this other trilogy of movies. Don't get me wrong, Lost World, and as much as I'm a big fan of the Lost World, I'm not a fan of Jurassic Park 3, but still, you've had a trilogy now of these films that people are pretty evenly split on. So it's like, okay, where does that leave the rest of these films, the rest of the franchise from here on out?
Yeah,
that's my concern. So I really hope they stick the landing. Just bringing this all to a head now. So excited. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'm still going. We're all going to go and see this next movie. I want them. I hope they pull it off. I hope we get a stronger third final film. This is really the film Trevor has been wanting to make for all this time. I really do hope he sticks to his comments, sticks to his promises.
If you're trying to make these movies, it's like, and that's the really movie you really, really want to make, then it's okay.
You have to knock this out of the park, which is what I'm not sure if he can. I don't. You're just going,
I am that thing.
Considering the history we've talked about, I don't know if he can. I'm just going off what we have. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I really want to be wrong about that. I'm
going to project. I'm going to put a projection out there because the fact that the second one has made $700 million, and the first one made, you said what, 1.7?
Nearly 1.7. Yeah.
1.7. So that's disgusting. But at the same time, overall, I reckon this, because it came out worldwide, right? It's come out everywhere. There's no
Fallen Kingdom's yet to open in Japan as we're recording.
So therefore, I reckon if anything, we'll make $1 billion.
It'll easily cross $1 billion.
It'll cross $1 billion, but at the same time, that it will make $1 billion, but won't make the 1.7. I reckon it will hold steady around $1 billion, and that is it. And that's the thing. And then that, for me, I reckon the third one will do less than that. So therefore, I want to put the third one doing $800 million.
Yeah, unless everyone is on board with that first trailer that drops.
Yeah.
And people are interested in seeing what's next, because as you talk to people about this, even a lot of people, including me, you talk to people that aren't completely on board. And don't get me wrong, I still like the movie, but the people that have issues with the movie, we still want to see what's going to come next.
Yeah,
you've set this big promise up. We want to see what's going to happen. So you're still going to have that sort of interest there. But yeah, I think we're going to have to wait and see what's going to happen with that first trailer, because it's a few years out. But I think we're all hoping to see just an improvement. We want to see Colin Trevorrow, stick to what he's been saying, be able to prove that. Yes, his movies are making money, but where quality is concerned, not everyone is in agreement. So hopefully he can pull that off. I hope he can.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. But I think, yeah, where we're at, I mean, yeah, I'm still sort of at a 6.5 with Fallen Kingdom. I enjoy Bayona's direction. Bayona's direction is what makes the film for me. That's, when I watch it again, I want to watch it for the opening. I want to watch it for the volcano sequence. I want to watch it for, the bits around the house with the Indoraptor. That's what I like about this movie. I'm hoping, we get something... some beefed up characters, or just an improvement in where the writing is concerned.
Yeah.
In the next movie, that's my real hopes for the franchise. But I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to quickly add?
Not really. I think it's like all I know is I had an enjoyable time in it. I like the references to the first one. They were like, at the same time, if you're not a deep dark fan of it, like you're not really gonna pick up on it. Like you might get a sense of it. And that's what these kind of movies are kind of trying to get how you felt when you were watching. It's stealing in the sense of it. Like I enjoy, at the 7-year-old in me, loved it. Was scared, watched it from top to tail. Yeah. I'm more willing to watch this one again than Jurassic World. Then I'm probably more willing to watch this one more than Jurassic Park 3, just due to the stupidity of Jurassic Park 3. And that's the sense of its characters. I'm more... So that part I liked. But that's, it's like these movies are bugging me in the sense of like, we can't think of anything new, so we're going to rely on imagery from the first one. We're going to rely on music from the first one, because that's how it made you feel at the time of watching the original. And that to me is kind of cheating. It's like, if you can't make me feel more different emotions
you have to earn it.
And that's the thing. It's like, but at the same time, kids today watching these will go back, and when they remake this movie for the 100th time, they'll have feelings about this movie. And that's just the business of it. Like, if you can't realize that or deal with that, then it's like, well, watch another film. But like, if I was like to rank this and put in like an out of 10 thing, me personally, I'd give it a 6 out of 10, because I still enjoyed it. I still had a fun time watching it. I'm happy to watch it again. I might not buy it on DVD, but at the same time, I wasn't a huge fan of these in the first place. I'm not a deep dark fan, so. But just an average viewer, I did enjoy myself, and I walked out of there going, all right, I'm glad I spent my money, and I'm glad I went and saw it on the big screen. But outside that, as a kid, if I was to view this and rank it when I was 7, I'd give it an 8 out of 10, because it generally gave me the fear, scares. It had beats in there. The music was kind of like, oh my god, the visuals were really excellent. But as an adult, I'm giving this like 6 out of 10, because there's moments in where you're just like, just shoot me in the face. And
yeah, I think you're not the only one where that's concerned, but
it has given me enough to want to watch the third one.
Yeah,
because I'm now invested in enough to go, okay, what's going to happen? I need to see what happens for the third time.
Definitely. Well, on that note, we're gonna bring it to a close. Jarrad, Jarrad's you're not on social media, so but potentially in the future we'll be possibly doing some more podcasts in the future. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for listening. This has been the spoiler talk for Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom. So, of course, let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Whether you like the film, didn't like the film, things you did like, disliked. Write it all down. Let us know what you thought. As we mentioned, there'll be plenty more discussions coming up in the future. So, guys, don't forget, you can follow The Mono Report, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that. Just hit up at The Mono Report on all those platforms. Yeah, thank you again, and don't forget to stay right here for your Mono Fix. Bye, guys.